Hey there guys, it's Pubert here, and today I wanted to make a video about the practicalities of getting better aim in PlanetSide. I want to go over ways to practice and things that I think can trip you up on your journey to becoming a headshot god. Okay, so the very first thing I want to just quickly talk about is sensitivity. Alright, I'm not going to tell you how to do it or what's best or what's better, low, high. It is a preference. However, I think there are some hard limits that you cannot go over, otherwise it will actually detriment your skill. So one of them is having your sensitivity too high that you can't hit stuff. I know you know this. I am a firm believer that dragging it low is good. Dragging it low means I have the accuracy that I need. I can move my wrist and be really accurate, or I can move my arm and get bigger motions. I think that's really good, and I feel that I can be very accurate with a low sensitivity. So if your sensitivity is too high that you can't hit stuff, that you literally can't land on this head, that's a problem and you need to change it. The second limit is having it too low that you can't turn around and turn. You can't turn and engage that guy behind you. Or I can't turn from here and run behind this cover. If my sensitivity is too low that it restricts me from doing those, then that's a problem as well. So point number one, have it low enough that you can hit stuff. Point number two, have it high enough that you can run away and you can turn and look and all of the other things. So the way that I try and balance this is if I line up on his head and okay, well there's my leftmost mouse sensitivity, my leftmost point that I can put my mouse on my mouse pad. If I do a full 360 all the way around, I get back to them and then I go a little further, and now I've just dropped off my mouse mat. So I make sure that I have a full 360 and a little extra in case I need to then run and do something. Okay? That's how I try and balance those two criteria. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the mouse sensitivities in-game. Okay? If you go into your settings and then in general you can look at them. This mouse sensitivity at the top is your hip fire sensitivity. Your aimed mouse sensitivity is when you're aiming down sights, so using your sights, and scoped is when you're in a sniper rifle scope or a large sight. And you'll notice that on mine these are all different values. There is a reason for that. If I were to put all of my values at 0.15, all of them, I'm actually going to get different sensitivity values when I am in those scopes or when I'm aiming down sights. So for an example, let's say my mouse sensitivity is literally 1. So if I want to move 10 centimeters on my screen, I'm going to move my mouse 10 centimeters. Okay, if that's the case for my hip fire, if I also have, say, my aim sensitivity at the same as my hip fire, when I move my mouse 10 centimeters, it's only going to move, for example, 9 centimeters on my screen. Obviously in game it's going to be different because that's the point of zoom, you know. Yeah, it's going to move a different amount in game, but on my screen the relationship should always be the same. You should always move your mouse the same amount to get the same distance on your screen. And that's why we're looking at these. That's why I've got these different values, because if I put them the same, it's going to be different. So the way that you calculate this and the way you find out is I'm going to take you to Iridar's gaming blog. I think it's fantastic. It's iridar.net. And he has some amazing guides on here. He has reviews, he has gameplay mechanics, breakdowns, like he's super into PlanetSide. Awesome information is on here, and he's also a really nice guy. He helped me build my PC entirely for free. He's great, so proper shout out to him. But we're interested in one specific bit, so go on the PlanetSide part, go down to performance and customization, and then go on to mouse sensitivity. Click that bad boy. Then what we're going to do is we want the quick link to the calculator, which is this. It's going to take you to a spreadsheet. Details of how to use the spreadsheet are all up here, but I'm just going to give you a very brief intro. So here's your hipfire sensitivity. This is whatever it is in game. So I would input 0.15, okay, into here. It's then going to do a bunch of calculations, whatever it is that you need to figure out, and it's just going to give you the values so that your sensitivity stays the same no matter what scope, no matter what sight you're using. Okay, so bung your hipfire into here, it'll spit out these, put these in game. These are what I got when I did the calculation. and you're good to go. Okay then, so now we're going to talk about a practical way that we can improve our aim in PlanetSide. This is my warm-up and my practice regime, my routine that I do every time I log on. And this is to improve my aim, and it's actually in-game. So as a warning, I would say avoid anything that improves your aim out of the game. I just don't think it actually helps that much. Because how can you get good at a situation when you're not in it, you know? And your sensitivity is probably going to be different if you have any Windows multipliers, etc. And you're not acquiring targets, you're not being fine motor skills to hit the heads, you're not doing any of that. So I really push for practice things in-game. And I'm just going to show you mine, and this is what I do. So first step is equip a Tanto. Alright, trust me, I think it's a terrible carbine. However, it really shines through in this practice thing. So just equip any scope you want, you're probably not going to use it, and don't give yourself any other buffers, don't put any kind of ammo, no forward grip, nothing, just a bare Tanto, okay? Next point is grab yourself a Sunday, looking good, and take it to this point on the map. I'm in the VR, by the way, and when you spawn in, you're up here. This point is where you want to be, in between these two canyons, alright? If you need help, I'll take you there in game, but just have a look at this. So, got your Tanto, and we're in this special spot. Now, what makes this spot special is the dummies, okay? This isn't new, I haven't found this, and I can't remember who actually has credit for it. I think it's a player called Boss. Don't want to take credit. But the dummies are special because if you kill them, okay, they respawn very quickly, okay? Look at that, only a few seconds. And there's loads of them around, alright? If I'm in this spot here, which is my little nub, which is where I always practice from, there's so many dummies. There's 5 on here, there's 3 there, there's actually 1 guy there, 2, 3 here. You're surrounded by dummies, which is fantastic. And we're going to use this to practice. If you come here and it looks a bit different, that's okay. There's vehicles that can spawn in. You can get mag riders up here, like a Sunday and a Scythe down here, and a Sunday across here. It can be really frustrating. It seems to be random. I have no idea what it is. And if you kill them, the vehicles spawn back as well. So this area might look a bit different. That is absolutely okay. But I recommend standing on your little nub, get your Tanto out, and we're going to start shooting heads. But we're not going to scope. We're not going to aim. We're going to do it with hip fire. Alright? And yes, those little icons, you know, your hip fire, I don't know what you'd call them, lines, the cross in the center, they're gonna get in the way, but that's alright. We kinda want that, because what that allows us to do is we have to pick out this target over here. My brain then has to remember where it is and predict it, because it now can't see it. I've got to predict where that head is, and that's a good thing. We want to learn that. That's definitely going to help you. If you can predict where a player's head is by seeing his leg, that's fantastic. And so, the actual routine itself, as I'm showing, you're going to just pick a direction. I'm actually going anti-clockwise at the moment. And without scoping, I want you to go around and just click all the heads you can. But the important thing, alright, is that you always get the head. Make sure that you hit it. Don't try and do it really quick and snap, bam, and try and hit him. That's not going to do you any good. This is the time where there's no pressure, there's no one shooting at you. You know, put some music on, spend some time, and just get it right. Nice, slow movements. Make sure you've got the head, and then shoot. If you do overcompensate, then make sure you go back and hit the head. But the whole point is that we don't overcompensate. Go slow enough so that you don't go over the head and have to go back. Just make sure it's one smooth movement to the head. And that's what you want to train into your body. You want to train your arm to do this. One smooth movement to the head. And that's what we're practicing here, okay? So just take your time. Don't worry if it takes quite a while. When I first started with this, I was like, I think it's over here, there, and I'd probably miss. So don't worry about it. This is a practice. This is a routine to improve and to get better. And so, your little Sunday timer up the top right, that is your time limit. When you run out of 20 minutes, that's it. You stop, because otherwise it's going to be boring. You don't want to spend hours and hours doing this. That's utter rubbish. But that's your 20 minutes for practicing, and wherever you get in the practice, don't worry, that's okay. I've got ahead of myself a little bit. There's 3 stages to the practice. The first practice is this, like I'm saying, going round one direction, anti-clockwise, and I would do it until you run out of ammo. So the Tanto, conveniently, has 300 rounds. That's 300 heads that you can click. Do it, pick a direction. Oh, that was poor, did you see that? Sorry. Pick a direction, go round, do your 300 rounds, and then once you've run out, head back to your conveniently placed Sunday and restock. Then, back to your nub, and we're going to go the other way around, okay? We're going to go clockwise in my example, and I'm going to do it for 300 rounds, alright? I'm serious about this, it will improve. You will see improvements in your own aim. This is worth doing. Just hear me out, do it for a week, and see how you feel. So, you've done that another 300 rounds of time, go back, reload, and now we're going to talk about the tasty bit. So, it doesn't matter about the timer, it doesn't matter even if you have 2 minutes, just moving around and clicking heads like that will make an improvement. But, this is now the next step of what I want to show. So, you've done your Tanto stuff, pick the weapon that you want to use in the game today. For my example, it's my heavy. I'm going to be playing with the GT22S. So, I want to click it, I've equipped it. I first need to figure out what the recoil pattern of this weapon is like, okay? So, all I'm going to do is I'm going to scope in and I'm going to hold my mouse. As you can see, I'm shooting up and to the right. When I ran out of bullets, my mouse actually guided itself back down. So this recoil pattern of this weapon is not only just up vertically, but it also has an angle, it's to the right. And that means that whenever I shoot this weapon, I'm going to have to compensate for that. So if I just shoot and click on this guy's head, oh no, it's already off, and it's going to the right. You know, that's no good, that doesn't help you kill him at all. So we have to do recoil compensation. I know this is quite obvious, but I'm still covering it anyway. So, the part of the practice, which is why I'm talking about the recoil compensation, is because I have an angle, that means I have to compensate in the opposite way. When I shoot, not only do I have to pull down, but I have to pull opposite to the angle, okay? The next part of the practice is AD practice, okay? So we're going to be shooting these 5 dummies, and I'm going to be moving sideways. So it's a bit harder, because now they're not standard targets, I'm going to actually have to kill them. But the whole point is that you're moving, so you've got a little bit of tracking practice in there as well. And as I'm showing, we're bursting and we're going for kills now. We're not just tapping the heads, we're actually going to get those kills. You can scope in and out if you wish, that's absolutely fine. Whatever you feel comfortable doing, but we want to be moving the entire time. And just for now, you've noticed that I lock myself left. So I'm just pressing the A key, I'm always moving left on purpose. And then I have to shoot all my other targets. And it gets a bit awkward for these guys over here. But again, that's good, because that's another situation that you've now got better at. One thing that I will... Oh, I've run out of bullets. When I'm moving in a direction, my compensation has to change as well. Okay? So because my compensation was up and to the right, if I move to the left, remember it's moving right on its own, it's kind of compensating for me. Like, I move left, my gun moves right, so to keep it on this guy, I basically have to fire. It's like doing it for me. It's doing the work. All I have to do is drag down, and my crosshair stays on target. However, if I move to the right, and my crosshair is wanting to move to the right because of the recoil, suddenly I'm massively off target. Look at that, look at that. I'm pulling down, and I'm just not hitting them. So now I need to compensate even more, okay? And the rule for this is, you've got to know which way your recoil is going to go. If you're moving opposite to your recoil, generally speaking, you can just drag down and you're going to hit it. Obviously it depends on the range of where you are. But generally speaking, if you move opposite to your recoil helps you out. If you move with your recoil in the same direction, it's then hindering you. and you've got to compensate even more. Okay? So do that, practice it, get used to your weapon. Your weapon might not even have angular recoil, in which case, fantastic, you've got an easier job. But the point of this practice is to get used to the weapon that you're going to use. So I press on my strafe key, and I do it until I've run out of ammo in the clip. Okay? So here's a quick example. There's been lots of waffling in this bit, sorry. But here we go. Clicking, killing, all moving left. I've run out of ammo. There we go in my clip. I'm now going to move right, and I know that I need to do a lot of compensation because my gun recoils to the right as well. So not only am I having to pull down, but I'm having to pull down at an angle. Still got to watch my bursts, still got to make sure I go for headshots, all of the above. And then once you've done that for a few minutes, you can pick how long it is. I'm probably going to run out of ammo soon, so I'd say once I've actually run out of ammo, that would be my limit. After I've done that, I'm going to go back, get some more, and then we turn it into real AD-AD. So instead of just holding one direction, we're going to sidestep. So when I move left, I know what it's like because I've had that feeling. When I move right, I know how I need to compensate for that because I've just practiced it. Okay? And that's how, very convoluted and a bit all over the place, but that's how I practice my aim in PlanetSide. Grab the Tanto, stand here, hip fire, pop, 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 click your heads all day long. Once you've done that for a bunch of time, pick the weapon that you want and practice your AD-AD. And just pay attention to how the recoil is going to affect you when you're moving, when you're AD-AD. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You got any improvements, that's also fine. You know, you're very welcome. I'll try not to be too upset if you criticize me. But I hope you all have a good day, guys, and much love. Take care.